last time you tried to get back into the field too quickly? When you encountered Grand Enchantress Omas?
I fully cut ties with that man, Rogers. If that were so, Barnabas would have... Huh? Ah! Good morning, novices. Hope you all slept well? Good. Now before we head out, Lord Rogers here has something to give us. Well, mainly one of you two. Don't worry, I've seen it work before you came in. I will say, though, this trash-loving genius has dug up and refurbished something that may help other missions in the foreseeable future.
What I have for you, pups,
Hey!
is a solution to not only all the emergency resources needed for every mission, but with our storage problem. This, along with its brother, is a transportable and expandable storage containment device that is capable of holding weapons, tools, and any sort of items that may come in handy in any dire situation. Maybe to the unkeen eye it's a messenger bag, but there is more to it than just the simplicity of its functions. See, long ago, there were several bags similar to these two created. Sorry, that was my burrito. Hang on. Long ago, there were several bags similar to these two created. They have a connected line from each of one of the other's duplicates. By the same essence, craftsmen who wanted to be sure that everything was transported, stored, and light enough for those who would go on missions. But when a great civil war long ago had taken place, all but 5 sets survived. Not wanting to risk having enemies take advantage of them, the stewards of the nations made sure that each be separated in various worlds. The Weaver keeps one half of each of these bags to assure that they won't reactivate when placed in the set of grimy hands. To give you an example, I just grabbed a handful of apples and 2 quills. I threw them into the bag that I have right here. Now, think of what you need. Reach in without looking and pull the first item that either of you touches. It seems that the squire was thinking about having some arrows in his arsenal, since he is in such a hurry to get out the door, resulting in missing breakfast and a chunk of his arrows. Who misses breakfast, really? I suggested the idea to Lord Bardock. Whatever information, evidence, or items that are sent back, I'll see it and take it over to the council after cataloging them. Just don't use it as a trash heap, nor to store food. But it is to be used when there's an emergency. Because of the limitations of the essence used for it, it can only be used once per day per person.
So, only when our bacon is on the fire do we use it for only one use a day? Sounds convenient. We need to get to the northeastern borders of the Stowaway mountain range, and we will then need to turn east toward the stone forest. More of a glorified canyon that is at the base of their mountain home. The Amer people and the refugees that camp along their borders, outsiders, nomads, exiled individuals, and all the misfits seeking sanctuary in the territory. Barnabas resides there half of the year with his bride, Lily. Is he human? Well, yes and no, lad. He's You'll know more when you'll meet him. His wife, though? What a saint. He, that is, Dr. Newcastle, is one of the few stewards who can identify any type and resources of the essence. If he can decode as he heals Lamar, then he could identify the perpetrators and find the other connections if needed.
Lamar Lupin was one of the spies that were assigned to look into the disappearances of many of the citizens for the past 6 months. He, along with 2 other spies mentioned, was sent after receiving a tip about the possible whereabouts of the princess of a neighboring kingdom, who was kidnapped around the time of the disappearances.
Not to mention that he is Morgan Lupin's cousin, and this makes the matter even more delicate. Getting the information about the perpetrators, when he could speak again, that is, will get us one step closer to solving 2 mysteries.
What happened to Lamar required powerful enough essence to turn him into the beast-like human form that you saw yesterday. And if that was more than the shake of my whiskers with fright, Maker knows what other power they may possess.
Then we must stop them. Thank you for the tools and for the advice.
May the Maker watch over you all. Oh, and here, have some Stardust sugar biscuits. The missus would have my tail if I ate them all. That's for me to know, and for you to know that I know, lad.
Again, thanks, Rogers. And next time, I'll bring your boys something.
For nearly half a day, the warden, the squire, and Vinci Rams traveled through the beautiful landscapes of Thalamus. The opportunity to look at the brilliant colors of the autumn, deep red, gold, orange, and yellow, was the wondrous sights for Vinci. The artist took this opportunity to ask the overseers about their lives and their respective positions, for it helped to distract her aching heart from the painful need to capture a sketch of the beautiful landscapes before her.
That is so typical of Owen. Of all the Teklars, you had to land with the fun one, let alone with a prince. The one who manages to convince all other squires to read more books. Believe it or not, lad, there is a method to the so-called madness that you claim is agonizing. Like Roger said, books are dreams that you hold in your hands, for they are also sharpening your mind like the weapons in your arsenal. Trust me, someday you'll find that reading something will probably save your bacon from burning in the fires that were set before you to try to smother your passions. Sometimes, lad, I just like to have a sense of humor in any given situation. I'm surprised you didn't catch that trait about me over the past couple of days that we've come to know each other as a group. My name... Oh. Well, well, lass, Vinci is a nickname bestowed to me by Owen, claiming that I reminded him of his favorite fairy story character about a steward of many talents. And since I never liked the name Victoria, it seems to fit well for all parties. Wait. You thought that he and I are... Okay, I don't know if this is a creepy, but you really think that Owen and I are a couple? I don't know if that's a compliment or not. No. He and I are just childhood friends that have an age gap in the mind. And the titles that would be too cliche even for me. If that were so, it would make everything complicated. He may be the middle prince, but he is under the bigger eyes of the people than me. Careful, lassie. He may be handsome, but many girls try to catch his eye. But he's reserved. Always has been. So don't expect too much.
The travelers traveled northeast towards the mountain ranges of Stowaway. As the day turned into early evening, the area became more rocky and barren as they went. The weather grew more noticeably cold as the wind started to kick in harder and harder as the light of dusk left the land. Then, the combination of the sand and the wood debris came out of nowhere, building and forcing the travelers to move at a slower pace. Each of them covered their faces with their arms and hands as they tried to navigate through the storm. The novices could hear Vinci cursing against the wind, almost as if it were of an unwanted relative who came to a home without any notice in advance.
We need to seek shelter and fast. Can any of you see anything? All right then. Lad, could you reach in the bag and grab the first thing you can pull out of there? Preferably a tent, a heavy blanket, anything that would help shield us from this disaster of a wind? A staff? Blasted! It's not even an essence staff. Just a glorified walking stick that we... Oh, sweet brother at the maker of my ankle! Oh, yeah. Oh, pulled and sprayed. Someone, help me up. Oh, Tinker's curse. That's a pretty one. We need to...
Aria?
What?
Aria!
No, shh, listen.
Aria? Where are you?
Did you hear that? Sounds like people. Lassie, go see. Wait. What do you see? A house? A homestead? Okay, Lass, go ahead and get help. Well, there's one use for this stuff today.
Aria? Where are you? Aria? Aria? Aria, is that you?
Did you find her, Mother? Is she... Wait, no. It's not her. What are you doing out here, stranger? How many of you are there? The storm is getting worse. We will have to weather it through and resume the search later.
But we need to find Aria and Yzma.
Come on! Help Mother Ann while I help the stewards. Pray that the Maker will keep Aria from being consumed by this storm.
Sweet voice sounds.
Please sit down, miss. Helen, get the kettle going and make tea for our guests.
On it.
Thank you, ladies. Oh, now. Let's see if I can... Yep. Tighter than a rough... Tighter than a war drum and puffier than a creep puff. Lad, can you hold me down while the lassie of a warden here tries to get this confounded boot off me? Alright. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, Stop. Oh, it's too swollen to be pulled out. Oh, Maker, I love these boots. You got a knife on you, lad? What? Criminy, what do you mean you don't have a knife? Oh, I'll have to have a word with Owen when we get back.
I have some leather scissors that might help you, miss.
Oh, bless you.
My name is Primrose. These are my daughters, Margaret,
You can call me Maggie.
and my youngest, Helen.
Pleased to meet you.
A pleasure, and with my thanks for your rescue and hospitality. I'm Victoria Rams of the Artisan Steward Division from Atad. These are my associates, respectfully.
May I ask what brings you all the way to the base of the mountains at this time of the year? Barnabas? As in Dr. Barnabas Newcastle. He is no man, but he is no closer to a monster than should be.
Mother, please.
There's no sense in pretending. Your father went with Dr. Newcastle to the Stone Forest to appeal to the leaders to ask for further leasing on the land so that we could be able to grow more of our crops and essence during the coma. Days passed on by, and there was no word from either of them, until the 6th day when Barnabas returned with my husband. Half of his body was turned to stone, and he was burning with the fever from the virus that came with it. The doctor tried to help, but the damage was already done. Before he left, he turned around and cursed us for our stupidity, for even homesteading near the mountains, attempting to take away from the people of the Stone Forest, just as the first stewards did long ago. It seems that poetic justice has come to us from him. My daughter, Aria, going missing on the anniversary of my husband's death is proving to be more than just a coincidence.
Madam, I give you and your family my deepest condolences. But I can assure you, Dr. Newcastle would never abandon an individual in need. What you heard in the end before he left, that wasn't him.
How so?
That, lassie girl, is not my story to tell. All I do know is that we need to find him for the council members of Thalamus.
Aria, our sister, was looking for our family hen, Yzma. She's been gone for over 2 days, and her eggs are our only source of food to this point.
That and Yuzuma herself would give us a day's worth of food if she doesn't lay a single egg.
Margaret!
Sorry, Mother.
Aria must have gotten lost on the trail to the mountains during the storm.
And many things can happen when one goes into the mountains after sunset.
Wait, what? We're supposed to find Barnabas, not finding straight. You have a point, lass. But one of you has to go out and help. And the one has to stay here to be sure that I don't fall over with this confounded of an ankle. This stuff may be of use after all. Still, I'll only slow you down if I go out and search with you. The quiet and mysterious squire speaks again. Divide and conquer is the best option. Madam, as soon as the storm subsides, we shall go and find your daughter along with your chicken, while we search for the doctor. Consider it our payment for the lodgings for the next few days, if needed.
The company sat in silence by the fireplace as the storm passed. The warden's steward wrote in silence as she wrote the reports of the day in the journal. When she was close to finished, writings disappeared without a trace. She took the time to look up to see the squire sewing a new lance pattern for Vinci's destroyed right boot, as the artist talked to Hellen, while the other sister and Primrose cooked a simple supper, which wasn't enough for 3 extra people. To distract the youngest from going hungry, Vinci would tell Hellen a story from one of her missions from long ago.
And then I had to draw a ladder to reach out to the window in the grain barn, and I ran as fast as my legs could carry me. I reached to the edge of the village, where a bridge laid over a deep canyon. Seeing that the cronies were after me, I had to draw flames at the oiliest part of the bridge.
What happened after that?
After the bridge collapsed, then I came to a Tad and joined the stewards, and have been working on and off with them ever since.
Wow. Can we see one of these drawings come to life?
Well, I can't currently, for I don't have my paintbrush on hand. No pun intended. It's possible, but does that old rifle still work on the wall?
I wouldn't even bother. Papa never used that thing a day of his life living on the homestead. I doubt the gunpowder is decent enough to be fired on. I'll guide you there.
Me too.
You can't come along, Hellen. It's too dangerous when it gets dark.
But what if Aria's found hurt and she needs help? I can run fast, and I know the mountains just as much as both you and Aria.
Madam, if I may, having more eyes would help in the search process to be done swiftly if required. Hellen will stay with the lad and me if it'll make you feel better, while Maggie and the warden search ahead of us. Well, you're the one who could freely wield the essence, lass. My hands are tied at this point. So, if you find her or see anything, give us a shout. All right.
Very well. But if you encounter Dr. Newcastle, know that he is not welcome in my homestead nor an acre of my lands.
In my honor, I promise.
May the Maker watch you both and keep my daughter safe.
Aria! Aria! Ah, it's getting dark and cold. She shouldn't have gone farther than the bend. Wait a minute. There. It's a chicken feather. Yes, Hellen loves that chicken so much. Possibly the only friend that she's had in this world. You see, we were formerly from a city, seeking life in the Thalamus plains and mountains. Aria and I had friends back in the city, and it was hard for us to leave them behind. I even attempted to run away a few times in my youth, if only to try to return home. Hellen was very young when we homesteaded here, so the closest thing she had to a friend was any farm animal that breathed. You? That's impossible. You look like the type of person who would make dozens of friends. Well, for one thing, you're gorgeous. How can you even deny that, especially when that squire?
The warden's vision went black for a few moments, only to be awoken to sounds of voices echoing in what she assumed was a cave under the mountain. She hoisted herself from the haystack that cushioned her fall upon the cave floor. Careful not to make a sound, the warden heard a monstrous voice echoing in the distance. A woman's scream was then heard before silence took over. As the warden took in her surroundings, she froze at the sight of a creature unlike any she'd seen before, standing between her and an open hallway. Before she could run, the 8 to 10 foot creature asked a simple question.
Would you like to be my sweetheart? No. No? But I want to have a... Oh no. Running away, are we? Gotcha! You're not going anywhere.
Aria!
Aria, where are you?
We looked all over. Not a sign of her.
This is where we were supposed to meet Maggie and the warden at sunset, right at the old gnarled tree.
No kidding. I haven't noticed the sunset that is... Wait. There, on the ground. That's the bag Lord Rogers had given us. Surely the lass wouldn't leave it behind. Unless... Can't say. I don't see any traces of her or Maggie. They stopped right here at this dead end, with nothing but bundles and brushes and vines. They do look unnatural for common garden plants. They look more like something from a trapdoor spider's plot hole or something that would make of it. I don't know. We have to be very... Lad! Wait, lad! Come on, wait! Oh, lad! Oh! All right. Yes. I'm mostly okay. Can't say the same for my ankle. Oof. Oh, where's my staff? Thanks, lad. Shh.
Would you like to be my sweetheart?
Sounds like we landed in a mountain troll's den. Oh!
Yes, I'm fine. But where...
Would you like to be my sweetheart?
The trio watched and listened as the shadow displayed the confrontation between the warden and the mountain troll from another section of the cave. The troll chased the woman around, trying to touch her like a toddler trying to play tag with a hen. Yet, it was proven far from a childish game when a touch upon the warden's forehead from the troll's large fingers froze her body into place as an essence of stone consumed her. He took her, along with another statue resembling Maggie, and placed them into a cellar toward the kitchen before shutting the stone cover.
That must be where Aria is being kept in if she landed in the same situation we're in. No, it's too risky. We need to see what he does and figure out how to get everyone out in one piece. Fetch nuggets and void sounds, he's coming! Hope this ironwood is staffus.
Wait, I have an idea. Get into the haystack.
If we were pressed for time, I'd be... Ouch! With all due respect, kid. Ouch. You're heavier than you look. Shh. Shh.
Oh. Where am I? Oh, hello. I'm sorry to intrude into your home.
You are the fifth thing that's crashed into my cave. The last three were pretty, but the first guest had a nasty sort of creature that came almost a year ago. They wanted to drag me out, and beat me to a pulp. Nice to finally have a friendly greeting for a change.
Sounds like Barnabas.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that people have been very rude to you.
Say, would you like to be my sweetheart?
Okay, that is both cringy and creepy
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes, I would.
What? What is she doing?
Really? You mean it? Yes.
Make her
I
above. He's
got
like
a
an overgrown
sweetheart.
toddler.
I got a sweetheart.
Good idea.
I got a sweetheart.
Hand over the bag. Come on, give us some
What
good
is your
Rogers.
name,
And-
sweetie?
Got it.
Helen.
And we
My
got
name is Helen.
a metal ball.
Well,
Are you kidding
Helen?
me?
let me show you to your room. You are going to love it. But first, let's fix that dress.
And with the snap of his fingers, the essence formed and changed Helen's worn-out homestead dress into a dress of gold and white that looked as if it were tailored for members of royalty. Not long after she admired the dress, Helen was taken by the hand with a taloned finger and was led into the depths of the troll's home in the mountain.
Okay, here. This should work. It'll be tight, but at least it's dry and well hidden. Okay. We need to keep low until either Helen finds us or we see or hear something that will help us get everyone out. I plan on fulfilling my promise to Primrose to return all the girls safely home. And once they... Touché, Squire. Touché. Look. Clearly, the lass is now stoned with possibly 3 other people. This either looks good or bad for me for my parole hearing. They'll think I'd up and abandoned them unless I bring both you 2 back after finding Barnabas. No cauldrons brewing, kidding me. Of course I want my paintbrush back. If I had it in my hand, I would have made a trap, some rope ladder, anything to get everyone's bacon out of the fire. Instead, we have a 24-hour shot of a magic bag where we now have to rely on a staff and a bowl. Only a raccoon would use an ancient artifact bag as extra storage. Well, yes and no. I wasn't always a wielder. The brush I formerly possessed at this point just appeared by my bedside years ago after a disappointing day of being turned away by a master artist when I asked him to simply borrow one of his brushes, just so I could learn how to paint and draw with real tools. I was poor, still am. And drawing, even with lentil charcoal sticks, was my source of comfort and escapism after my mother died. I was 14. Me too. but thanks. So, long story short, saw the brush, found out what it could do, and I ended up becoming a steward. What I had done with the stewards was that I would travel with several others to assist them with gleaning, investigating, and other matters. They often needed me to draw things that may be beneficial for them and the mission. From drawing weapons to dogs, I would create based on the needs of others, even if the subjects were repetitive. I suppose that's why I wanted to strengthen my skills. To create scenes, situations, and creatures that no one else has ever dared to attempt and to understand. Yes, well, not exactly. I never anticipated what I originally drew would become the tainted abomination that people claim that is the stuff of nightmares called a Draconicus. Why am I so attached to my paintbrush? Well, let's just say that it's not just an extended tool of my hand, but an attempt to be noticed, to be seen as more than just a common artisan steward with a paintbrush that provides the common necessaries or beasts of burden for a mission. I even drew meals for one of the king's armies once when supply trains were pretty much abolished by guerrilla fighters. My wrist was hurting for days after the fact. I wanted to be seen more than just being a tool of convenience. But now, without it, I feel like that scared orphan girl again, who was denied the ability to create and to help when needed. I had to recently deny 3 people that needed my assistance for fear of the council jumping to conclusions, just because they never bothered helping those in need. Displaying our mission statement, my boot. We should probably keep an ear out and see if we could catch Hellen while the troll sleeps. And, if my assumptions are correct, it'll be a long time till then, since we fell through the mountain when the sun was completely set. It'll take several hours, perhaps.
The artist and the squire sat for as long as Vinci had predicted. They barely said a word, and moved from their positioned spot. The only exception being when either of them drank from the spring trickling down from the wall and stretching their aching bodies. After 5 to 6 hours, they both heard the sound of a girl crying. The squire, feeling tired of sitting around and doing nothing while waiting, removed his boots and slightly made his way towards the section of the cave that he assumed was the kitchen with oversized furniture and wares. A large axe was set on a tree stump towards the table. He saw Hellen on her knees with her hands covering her tear-streaked face. The squire, joined by Vinci, got a chance to look at the troll fully from a safe distance. In his 7 to 9 feet stature, his body was the color of sand, with a wild frizz of white-tailed hair with a bald top spread everywhere, forming and hiding his rounded ears. He had a lion-like tail that swished around as his beady black eyes watched the girl, filled with curiosity and compassion that seemed childish. The troll approached the young girl, peering over her shoulder, a curious look on his face.
Oi! You crying? Why?
I miss my my hen. I've been looking for her for 2 days.
Oh. Is that why you are sad? Wait here.
Yzma! But that's not how I remembered her. She was alive and moving, and she's now stone.
Oh, right. I'll fix that. All right. One of these. There we go.
That looks like some sort of essence reversal powder remedy.
Yzma! It's alright. This is a nice troll. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
It is no trouble at all, sweetheart.
Oh, but I must be able to return the kindness you've shown me. I know. How about if you get some firewood for me, and I'll cook a large breakfast for you?
All right then. I'll get lots of wood. With lots of food so we have a big breakfast.
Get back, get down. Let's hope he's gone for a long time. Helen, are you all right?
I am, but we need to get that sparkly stuff to the cellar where my sisters are. And the warden.
You're not wrong there, lad. Mountain trolls are mostly known to be a few stones short of a quarry. Not surprised that he didn't give details of the chicken to someone he wanted as his... sweetheart. At least we know that Barnabas wasn't a victim of this brute. Okay, we have an unknown amount of borrowed time. Lad, help me move that cellar cover. Helen, take this bowl and scoop up that powder to the brim.
Right. I'll have to break a family rule by climbing on the table to get it.
A time to be alive, lassie. All right. Ready, lad? 1, 2, 3. Push! Oh, the stone is heavy. Helen, got the powder?
Right here. Yzma, cluck loudly when you hear him coming back, okay? There they are. Right here.
By the maker's mane! I've seen many formats of stone scents, but this is the sweetness of the cake top. That's a good point. We need to test that theory of a bowlful first. Let's try the warden here first. Hold her still for me, lad. Why? Well, what do you think? In case she comes back unconscious or weakened in the knees. I don't know what to her fall to the floor hitting her head would be like due to hallucination sickness is like, but, precautionaries. Thanks, Helen. Okay, here it goes. Whoa there. Oh, whoa. Welcome back. How do you feel? Okay, a bit lightheaded, but okay, yeah. Okay, that's a good start. Helen, get more scoops from the jar. Hurry!
What happened?
Steward, Warden, did you and...
Aria, Maggie. Thank goodness from the Maker that you're all right.
Ahem. I guess no one has noticed by now that... never mind. Point is, we need to get out of here now!
Is our mother all right? Did she get anything to eat?
What do you mean?
Our mother is greatly ill and has been for a long time.
At first glance, she seemed strong and fine, but the coma and the death of our father took a toll on her health.
I often begged her to eat an egg that Yzma would lay, but she still won't eat.
Why do mothers always have to be that way? Being invincible looking on the outside, but deep down we... Yes, right. Okay, you're right, lad. We need to get out. Now, you help the warden here while I get one of the girls up the stairs.
But what about your ankle, Steward Rams?
Oh, it's still tender but functional. Now, come on. Whew. Now, before we get the void out of here, I need to get some more of that powder. To transfer to Lord Rogers through the messenger bag. What else? We all need to know what is this essence and where it came from. It's more likely from the stone forest if that grump was formerly from the territory.
He's coming back.
We need to hide.
Quick, get into the sack and keep quiet.
At least it's big enough for the 5 of us.
Almost there. Okay, that'll do for now. Void sounds.
Steward Rams!
Okay. That'll do for now.
What's wrong?
There's thunder outside.
Why?
Thunder means lightning, and lightning usually leads to disasters. I've seen fire consume forests. This mountain was stricken once, causing rocks to slide. Some of my kin was struck down by lightning, injuring them severely enough that they couldn't hide before the sun rose.
But you're so brave. It's nonsense to be scared of thunder.
I'm not scared.
It's stopping now. Besides, you're so strong.
You're right. I'm strong.
And so kind.
I'm kind.
So that means you can help me? You see, my mother is very sick and she doesn't get enough to eat.
Is that so?
And since you are so kind and strong, like a lion, you can take some food down to her house at the base of the mountain after the storm has fully passed.
All right. But I'll go tonight. If I'm exposed to the daylight, I'll be turned to stone.
You can go and be back before the sun rises. In the meantime, I'll be cooking breakfast. Or brunch. Anyway, food will be ready soon for her.
While the conversation continued onward, 5 scared individuals lay on their stomachs as they all listened to the brave young girl who was setting a plan in motion.
She's right. The troll will notice our combined weights when he carries the sack.
Don't worry. I too have a plan. The moment he leaves, you and Maggie have to stay in this bag.
What about you 3 and Hellen?
Well, that and making sure that 2/3 of my promise to your mother is fulfilled. Lassie Warden, when he is making his way down the mountain to get wood or any fuel source, follow him to where the mouth of the cave is. We need to know our escape options without being detected. From there, we will...
The group listened to the rest of Vinci's whispered plans as Hellen started cooking the meal for the girl's mother that was not hot, but not too cold neither, as she placed them in the sack when finished.
Oh, man, I could have drawn food faster than this if I had my brush at hand.
When the 5 individuals in the sack ate the food that was placed while waiting for the all clear, when the troll finally stepped outside to get more firewood, the warning snuck out of the sack and tracked him through the waves of the cave holes, leading to the cave's mouth. But before she did such a thing, the squire stopped her and instructed her to take off her boots to reduce the sound that would surely give her position away before she continued tracking the monster.
Huh. That's new. I didn't notice that detail.
While the warden followed the troll, Vinci, the lad, and the 2 sisters crawled out of the sack, only to have the sisters return inside of it with a couple of arms full of food.
I'm planning to tell him that I will follow behind him to make sure that he keeps going without wanting to stop and eat. Pretend to be me and make sure he keeps going.
When the trio closed the sack, Hellen completed the breakfast for the troll to make the scene convincing. Afterward, the squire gathered Hellen's old dress and shoes while Vinci finished gathering as much of the dust as possible into the magical bag. When the sound of the troll's humming echoed through the cave, the artist and the squire, followed by the warden, rushed back into an area in where they couldn't be seen thanks to a large curtain to the storage room.
There you are, sweetheart. Lots of wood. Oh, wow. For being a sick mother, she sure eats a lot.
I'll be able to follow you and check on you so you don't get lost. And please gather mushrooms for me on the way home.
Okie dokie.
I think we are in the clear. Okay, now we... Oh! Hey, lass, what are you...
I'm sorry, Miss Rams, but I needed to try something. I just need to find something. There! Wow, this bag is magical.
How did you know about the bag?
The warden told me while you were being patched up. I wasn't sure if it would work, but it did. Wait here, I'll be right back.
Ah, clever girl. Changing out of the dress and stuffing with the bourgeois of a dress with straw like a scarecrow, and positioning it as if she were cooking. Well, I could have done that with my brush so she could just keep the pretty dress. Fine, I'll shut it. No need to go all clucky at me.
Okay, we're all set. Come on, Yzma. Let's all get out of here.
Okay, we should probably take the lower hills and into the... Wait. Shh! Quick! Get down!
Sweet mother of the carver. I'll never get back to the cave faster with this heavy thing slowing me down. Maybe a light snack to lighten the load. I'm sure my sweetheart's mother wouldn't notice a few things missing.
Void! Wait, lad, what are you doing? We can't just...
I still see you. Are you tired? Brunch will be cold by the time you get back at this pace.
Oi! Where? Huh? How can she see me? She's a fast and sneaky one, my sweetheart is. I'll show her then.
Do I really sound like that? Ah, good.
We should probably wait until he makes his way back to the cave. Once he is out of range, we run as if one of the voided hounds are on our trail chasing us. Shh. He's
Silently and swiftly, the group ran down the mountain path. Hellen carried Yzma in her arms as she led the group to the section of the valley where her homestead was. Vinci struggled from behind, given that her ankle was yet to be healed, while she kept an ear open for sight of the Troll. Inevitably, the sound of the screams and the shake of the still autumn morning air as the Troll ran down the mountain.
Oh, sweet maker!
This gave the group the needed strength to run past the old tree and down to the homestead. The squire got to the door first, pounding and shouting as the other women followed, demanding the entrance to the sanctuary they all prayed would keep the monster at bay.
Hellen, you're safe. Oh, thank the Maker. I thought I lost you.
My sweetheart! Come back! Come back!
Yeah, reunion later. He's coming. Now get us in!
Come on, hurry.
My sweetheart!
Ow!
Come out, my sweetheart!
The Troll took both sides of the homestead, rocking and pushing it in and out in an attempt to deroot it from the foundation. Pots and books, along with various items of houseware, flew around and broke. The squire drew his bow, ready to release an attack if needed. Vinci looked around for a weapon with the warden. only to pause when a shot was heard. The house stopped shaking, only to resume a few seconds after the fact. Vinci smelled the gunpowder residue that led her to the father's old hunting rifle that was formerly hanged on the wall that now lay on the floor. Without a word, Vinci took the rifle up, turned away from the group, and checked to see how many rounds were left.
3 rounds. That's all I got. Warden! Can you check to see if he can see him at the door?
The artist quietly made her way towards the door, her ankles screaming in pain as she walked towards the breaking barrier between them and the outside.
What? Is that thunder? It's thunder! Ah!
It's so quiet.
Is Vinci okay?
Girls, keep it down. We don't know if the troll is still out there.
No need to worry about him, ma'am.
Vinci, you're okay.
Oh, well. Yes, I am. No, I didn't kill him. But if you step outside, you'll see what his demise was caused by. You see, the gunshots sounded similar to thunderclaps, making him assume that another storm was coming.
Is that him?
Yep. All 10 feet of stone mountain troll with an extra vitamin D is now a glorified lawn ornament.
Are you sure?
Well, as mentioned, since he's a mountain troll, just a little bit of light and petrify.
That's a dear idea, Squire. I'll get the baskets.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to analyze the den for more information, tools, or any undecided factor for the council that may find it useful. Knowledge at a primary source, after all.
While the warden and Hellen looked after Primrose, the rest of the women and the Tekla climbed back up the mountain path and into the troll's den. The fact that they were nearly doomed to either cross early or be frozen into stone haunted their minds for a brief moment as they explored. The large cabinet stored an overabundance of bread, spices, and preserved plants to last more than several months. As the sisters gathered and transferred them back and forth to the homestead, Vinci and the lad finished searching for various forms of useful information.
Search for something useful. Not sure. A letter, a document. Aha! Here we are. This is big. This looks like a map of the stone forest. This is incredible, for the Stewards had a desire for one of these for years. Not even Barnabas could get his hands on one. The peoples and members of that territory are very reserved. They are kept well guarded for one another and make sure that the slight amount of territory that they manage to keep for themselves isn't invested by those that take back the lands, no matter who owns what. Like I said before, the stone forest is a sanctuary territory, not only for the creatures of the tunnel to be quarantined, but also for the exiled and ostracized. This was the territory that was negotiated between Thalamus and Corinth to give small bits of the lands to the Amer people after the war between nations, resulting in the holocaust of the indigenous creatures and the peoples that first walked among these lands. Happened a cycle and 3 quarters ago, but I'm sure you already know that through your history class. The Amer people. How to describe them? They're sort of like trolls, but the peaceful kind. Based upon what Barnabas had told me and the council, they just wanted to live peaceful lives after the bloodshed that they had to witness and be a part of. They felt tainted and robbed of their ways. Ooh, yeah. Oh, ow, ow, that was a spoon. That couldn't be farther from the truth. When Corinth demanded land access to get to Cyprium, resulting in reforming, establishing, and creating the Treaty of Ishmarop. Okay, now I need to duplicate this map on a smaller scale. Now, if I could find some form of... Aha! Here! I'll just tear a little corner of this right here. There. And of the map. And now to step on here and to draw it. On the contrary, dear lad, I can't wield essence without my paintbrush just yet, but that doesn't mean I can't be creative and draw when needed. You can write that down and let Hindress know otherwise. Owen overheard the conversation that the glorified peacock had with you and the lass, and he decided to inform me of his little scheme, to which I'm not surprised, considering how this sniveling coward would use a scribbler's journal to get insight before Lord Bardock would receive it. I gotta erase that. There we go. Hold on. The lower right corner down after putting that. I forget it. Could you move that mug over to that corner, please? Perfect. Hopefully this won't take too long. Art essence is an old and new mystery that is ever changing by the year. The materials also make it a difference in how it's wielded. My brush, for example, is made of a siphon-based material of unknown origins. It holds a creative base essence that can bring things to life after its completion. I can simply draw things with other materials like charcoal sticks, paints, and pencils made by human hands that do not affect the subject. In this case, if I used my brush to draw a map duplicate, I would end up creating a windowing entrance to that area and location, but it can only go so far. Windowing will only take you to a specific location, but you can never return to the starting point. That doesn't mean you can't draw a windowing way home. Even some military forces thought it to be of good use as a means of transport for war. However, it would take too much essence to move an entire army from a base camp over to the battlefield and back again. And besides, we'd all be destroyed and nothing would be left of Niarb with all this war going on. No, but I recall hearing a tale of how Tiam the Tainted banished a fearsome war chief and his party after creating an island with a powerful paintbrush that she wielded at the time. Don't tell me that you are not familiar with the tales of the tarnished steward who wielded many thanes, yet she was banned by those who she swore to protect and sacrifice everything for? Ah, right. Farm boy raised. Story time. Tiam the Tainted took a powerful paintbrush from a medicine man of the war camp that was stolen from a powerful steward. But when the Tainted was willingly captured, the chief took the brush and attempted to draw a pile of gold, only to be turned into a great serpent in reaction to the warrior chief's hand. Seeing that Tiam the Tainted can draw a subject without compromise, he demanded that she would draw a mountain pile of gold and weapons as resources. Yet, the Tainted had other plans. Formerly known as the Silver Fox by her family, she convinced the chief to have her draw an island that had a golden tree made unto the island so it would be guarded by itself, so it wouldn't be required anything else but the riches of its gold and apples. The chief, who never knew the magic of windowing, demanded that he would be taken there by the Tainted. So she had done the impossible and created an island off the coast of Corinth, where, true to her word, there was a golden tree that was made of a powerful brush. So the chief, drawn by greed, entered the windowing essence, where a storm was waiting for him. Once he entered, the Tainted destroyed the drawing and took command of the entire war camp, and they made her their new chieftain. Their loyalty towards her was stronger in comparison to the forced ones toward the tyrant of their previous chief. I suppose one could think of her as such, a heroine, if for no other reason than society at the time, and still. They today paint her to be based upon their standards, no more than an anti-hero. Now, almost done. Here we are, done. And for good measure, no windowing essence. Well, one can't really tell if it's the same nation one lives in. Well, here, just take it. Looks like it'll take another day to reach the stone forest. Why would I draw a map if I already know where it is? I only know about the stone forest through Barnabas. No human has ever entered in it or come out of it whole again in the past cycle and the 3/4. The last human that entered and escaped was a young novice that claimed to have entered into it and as a dare and returned with a state of mind that was neither of madness nor intelligence. He spoke of things that made one think, was it real or was it pretend? My point is, if we can locate Barnabas without getting caught by the Amer, our chances of things going wrong would be in our favor to not be in their favor, if you know what I mean. Besides, having a copy of the Stone Forest map will give the council a no reason to trust me with my brush again if I can get you two and Barnabas to its ad with our minds intact. You get what I'm saying? Good. Now, let's get this food back to the homestead. Then, I'm going to collapse and die in my sleep from exhaustion. We will all sleep like infants after having a wild 36 hours.
The artist and the squire returned with the two older sisters with the remaining food and supplies. Hellen greeted and led them through the damaged door that the warden managed to repair while they were gone. On a side note, she managed to report everything that had occurred to the council through Lord Hindreth's book. She also sent a private request to Lord Rogers through the messenger bag for assistance in the repairs of the homestead. Hellen, despite being exhausted, made a wonderful pot of potato soup and bread. The company was more than thankful for it after the last night's event.
I'm sorry we don't have spare beds for you three.
You have been kind enough to shelter us. We shall be leaving in the morning.
It is I who should be thanking you for returning all of my girls, Steward Rams.
Oh, well, I'm no high steward. For any decent individual can afford honor, dignity, and respect to merge with a kind act.
After a long-needed sleep, the triad rose as promised to head westward towards the stone forest. The landscape once again changed in its formats, transitioning from prairies to desert foothills. A large mountain can be seen over the horizon 4 hours into the journey.
Alright, let's see. According to this map, this is Threshpost Mountain. An odd name indeed, lassie. Must have been named after a folk legend among the Amer, or someone else not of this world beyond the realms. What do I know about the Amer people? If I recall correctly, Barnabas would be the one who you should ask for that supplement of information. Though I was formerly associated with possible fugitives of the Stone Forest that took refuge there once. What makes Dr. Newcastle stand out? Well, he's straightforward, yet poetic. For one who handles the injured wielders, he sure can have bold words if needed. So, in a way, he's not just a medical doctor, but is close to one with the essence involved. He helps those who need to see things, even those who don't wish to see. Ha! Sounds like I was among one of them recently, come to think of it. I don't know, lad. The last time I've heard, he was in the great hurry to return to the Stone Forest for some celebration or something. That, and a part of him needed to be away due to possible circumstances beyond his control. What was his crimes? What is it with you? It's not really his. He has. How am I going to explain this? He has an associate that follows him in all walks. One that influences actions either for the best or the worst of times. That's all I can say. What's that, lad? A story for the road? Well, I already told you of Tiam the Tainted and how she wielded another steward's brush. Ah, you want to know the entire tale of her becoming the Tainted? Well, get ready for a long tale then. Tiam was born in the Belamas, whose entire family fled to the north when her father played a shady game involving a High Lord's wife and many affairs. He, whose name is now forever forgotten, never traveled with the family, for he was found out and captured. His fate is unknown to this day. Tiam, who was a loyal daughter, vowed to herself that she would never forget the actions that forced her and her family to flee into exile that was both a blessing and a curse. Her childhood home died on the 30th day of the 11th moon cycle of that year. Many of her kin tried to persuade her to just forgive and let it go. Yet, she claimed, according to some historians, that she may have found it in herself to forgive that man, but she would never forget the terror, anguish, and near public humiliation that her mother endured as a result of that man's actions toward her family. Tiam claimed that forgetting will give history a higher chance of revisiting their lives with repetition. After years of expectations and limited freedom since childhood, suddenly, Tiam could now experience and taste the fruits of freedom to be an individual without her father's expectations holding her back. Yet, she was a wayfaring stranger in her mind. For the first 28 years, based upon pleasing that old man. For years she was kept dumb, sick, filled with self-doubt, coiling with fright around her like a snake. No one gave a tinker's curse about how much it would impact her later in her life. She even hated the hazel eyes her father gave her, for it was hard to live with the reminder of that man among the sea of blue in her family members' own. Tiam found herself joining the Thalamus stewards as a ranger scout. She had essence abilities, but in her past, she was dismissed from using them to not draw attention from her reserved kin. One day, while scouting along the wall of the Demolition Mountains, she came upon a band of soldiers that she never encountered before. She knew they were of the tunnel.
Before I continue with the tale within the tale, one might be confused with the tunnel. It is a large open-mouthed cave that dives deep into the core of Nyarb. No individual has gone in and returned, only to have various creatures and individuals merge into the continent at the center of the nation of Thalamus. Many residents who immigrated from the lands beyond the realm would reside in Nyarb, will be present briefly to assist its nations, only to return to their homeland when they are no longer needed.
These creatures that Tiam encountered called themselves the Vatigos, shapeshifters that make their faces with the skulls of the situals of their respected clan. 5 clans merged from the tunnel that year: the Moaz, the Pataz, the Pataza, the Jehu, and the Ezio. They had a common goal as of people: to conquer. Tiam knew the best chance of avoiding an attack was to attempt peace with the clan leaders. She tried and tried to convince the members of the Congregational Council of the Stewards to do so, but they would not take her heed. She claimed that learning from the Vadigos would benefit Niarb, and yet they were too reserved and afraid of the unknown to attempt such peace and learn such knowledge. One night, while she was scouting, Tiam encountered a set of the Vadigo siblings from the Badaza clan. Each of them held down a man, a traveler who was on his way from Inurian to Norras alone. Seeing that the male Vadigos attempted to consume the soul essence of the man, Tiam took her bow with an ironwood arrow and fired it in close range to accommodate its weight. After the arrow pierced the brother's shoulder, the Vadigos spirit escaped its dying body, and its essence merged into the human traveler in order to prevent an early crossing. That Vadigo's sister tried to take Tiam's essence and body in order to join her brother, only to have the ranger injure her with another ironwood arrow. The sister fled, wounded, leaving Tiam with a possessed man. When they spoke... Whoa! Whoa! Make her above! Where did this wind come from? No! No, I can't see anything beyond my hand. We need to hunker down and take shelter. Oh, if I had my brush lad, we would have a strong tent or something. But now's not the time. Wait! There! At the large tree. Get over there. Let's huddle there and wait until the storm passes.
The company found a safe spot along it as they huddled around one another with their backs against merciless winds. And by some miracle of the Maker, they all fell into a drowsy sleep. The following morning, the warden was the first to wake due to a hard poke at her side. She looked up, and her eyes widened in horror to see 3 tall man-like creatures similar to the mountain troll, but more tribal, with sets of manes and horns of various kinds framing their faces, carrying spears and pickaxes in their clawed hands.
Who are you 3? And why are you here?
What?
Stop with the screaming. Haven't had me hot bean juice yet.
You just won't admit that you're hanging out with the man on the moon too long after all the prickly pears you did last night.
You sure kept your Malfoy leaf stocked and hidden. You'll stink of...
Shut your gates! We need to see the fit of these trespassers and...
What goes on here, dear friends?
What? Who speaks?
Is this a way to treat an emissary of the stewards?
Should have known. Newcastle.
We don't need further assistance from you.
Oh, you most certainly do. Don't you recognize the scepter in the fair lady's hand? Well, unless you want to risk your chieftain's king's wrath by turning away royal emissaries of another land.
What exactly are these three scamps? Squire?
What's a squire?
Sounds like a wonder. Yes, sounds like a wonder. You're lost?
Lost?
How can one be lost and take shelter here? Last time I looked, this was warded.
Oh, that wind has been allowing more and more mischief wayfarers into our lands.
And they never leave, like my cousin Yetzis.
We have more pressing matters to address than your no-good, dirty, rotten goat stealing.
Shouldn't you take our guest to the king, my friends?
We will, Varagos. Thank the carver that your people saved mine. Your essence would help grow the glittering stones.
Understood.
We will take you to our king.
Oh, I don't think that would be necessary. I think I could just walk right there.